Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back with you for Ironheart, Episode 2, Will the Real Natalie Please Stand Up? I'm definitely aiming to make each one of these like 15 minutes long, and there's so much that happens in this episode, I wonder if I can do it. Usually when I say that, though, I'll accidentally like rush through it and it'll be too short. But anyway, it's good to be back here with you. I hope you enjoy what you've seen of Ironheart so far. I loved the first episode, and this one took it to another level. I think it set the stage for a really fun show, and I felt like we were kind of more in the passenger seat with Riri this time around than the last episode. We're getting to know her really, really well. So, instant reaction, instant thoughts. Episode 2 picks up the mystery pretty fast. Natalie is back, but not quite alive. The vibe, emotional, techie, and increasingly uneasy. There is a lot of moral dilemma, and I think there's a lot of things that happen away from Riri in terms of like the group she's working with and killing people. I don't think she's going to be on board with that at all. It's already kind of subtly setting up a conflict between her and that group in this episode because we see her reactions to them celebrating at the end. We'll get there, but that stands out to me and kind of tells me that group, the Hood, he's kind of like an anti-hero to start. We don't know what's going on with him. There's a lot going on with him in this episode. There's a lot of mystery, and yet we get some answers at the same time. The AI twist with Natalie, it hits hard. Riri built her best friend into her suit using her mind. I don't think Tony has ever... Well, we don't know what Tony does in his free time. I mean, like, he invents time travel and stuff, but we don't know if Tony has tried, like, integrating the suit with his mind like that. I think that's a really cool twist. Also, I'm going to say it again. I just love how they get in her helmet like Iron Man. If they didn't do that, that's where I'd say like the show is lost. Like that's a core element that could totally be used here. And I want to say it here now because I've been thinking about this for a while. I think it'd be a really good idea for Dr. Doom to leave his mask on like in the comics and whatnot all the time. And the way we see his face is through like an Iron Man perspective, like in the Doom helmet. Woo! I love that idea. However, I do want the helmet off, obviously, for when him and Spider-Man see each other, and Spider-Man's like, Mr. Stark? Okay, we're getting off track. But I think Ironheart is showing a lot of promise to become an Avenger. I gotta say, I'm happy that at least two in a row, we get the suit. And as long as we keep the suit as a character, as a moving object, not just a plot device, but also uses an amazing plot device. The whole episode is actually even about the suit. So I'm very hyped. I'm very hyped about this show. The heist planning is fun. The Chicago love continues, and something is very off with Joe. Yes, Joe. And I have a prediction about Joe, but it might be more of a spoiler, so I'll tell you when to skip ahead a few seconds if you don't want to hear the idea/prediction. So let's break it down a bit. And what are the highlights of this episode? So was Natalie coming in a ghost or an AI? Or was this a dream? Well, Natalie appears as like a glitchy holographic presence at first. So it even shows a glimpse of that at the end of the last episode. So we know what ended up happening. Natalie became her suit's AI, and Riri fell asleep with the neural plugs still in. So she doesn't know like literally exactly how it happened, but she's definitely facing something in her past with Natalie, and however Natalie died, she definitely seems to take some accountability about it. But the people in her life never blame her or say she did anything wrong. So it's most likely like a survivor's guilt type thing. I don't know. It's very interesting, and it's definitely something they're hanging on to for a bigger reveal later on. Riri gets home and hiding the suit from her mom, and also transferring Natalie onto a laptop. Natalie has Riri's memories, voice, inside jokes, and a mind of her own, it seems. There's still a self-awareness, and she's not panicky whatsoever that she is an AI. So I do believe it's not exactly her, but is exactly her at the same time because she was born out of the memories that Riri had of her, which is very special and also it's a little unhuman. Like if we're going off a religion, Is that against? We're not going off of religion, but what I'm thinking is just like, is this moral? Like, is this her or is it not? Like, is this really her? And that could be argued. I mean, that's what I like about the complexity already of the situation she's in. I really like Riri's mom. I think she's very perceptive, and I like how she gets to meet and talk to Natalie herself this episode. She's not even that surprised. We even get a reference later to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Riri saying it's either aliens, robots, or magicians. And I swear to God, that's totally what Sam Wilson says in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love that. And I think that's a nice callback and maybe a hint that these two characters will meet. Will Sam Wilson recruit Riri for his new Avengers? And will he rename the team Mighty Avengers, or is he just going to be the Avengers? Are the Avengers movies going to be a culmination of all the Avengers, and the separate movies like the new Avengers are going to be happening? Like, I want to see the Mighty Avengers. I'm a part of the creative team now in my mind, and I just make decisions, and that's what it must be. Okay, sorry, we're losing track here. So I just love the stickers on Riri's bedroom door. There's just one thing, like a little bit of detail, like the Chicago Bears sticker. I'm not even like that big of a fan of sports, but that is my team. That is my city. I live on the far south side, probably like 40 minutes to an hour outside of the city. I got a train station I could take to the city, and I will admit I don't go there enough. A lot of us from Chicago, we say we're from Chicago because if you look on a map, I'm like an inch away from it, but I'm about 40 or so minutes. I'd say maybe even like 50 now that I moved further out. But that being said, the Chicago love, the skyline, the buildings, just the visualization of them being in my city and my home, it gives the show a lot of meaning, and I just love the fact that it's set here because... Just tell me if I'm wrong, please. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. We have not, I would dare say, we haven't even heard of a word of Chicago in the MCU before this. I really am serious. I don't think anyone has even said it. For all I know, Chicago didn't even exist in this universe. And the Cubs fans on the train, I'm a more White Sox guy. There's also this underground superhighway project happening, and it's futuristic as heck, and I want it in Chicago. Chicago just feels alive in the MCU, and that brings me like true happiness, actual happiness. So the new crew, Riri meets the Hood's full team over bagels, and she brings the bagels as asked, and then someone asked if they're gluten-free, and I thought that was funny. We got Slug, hacker from Madripoor, fabulous. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's a gay man, which... I think it's pretty cool. I think he's a pretty badass character. I think he's a sick hacker, and he's very confident in what he does. And he pulled off a move like in this episode that needed to happen so fast, and he fixed it. So Slug is cool. Roz and Jerry, I think their siblings are band athletes from like everything they've done. John, it's the Hood's best friend. This guy, all these characters were present in the last episode, but we actually get to kind of meet them person by person. Riri replaces Stewart, who was Eric Andre's character, and the chemistry of the crew is surprisingly great. It feels natural. It feels like a group of people who have been together for some time and have history together. And I know that's what TV is, but sometimes shows can't capture organic chemistry like that. Sometimes it's forced, and you don't even know how to describe that it's forced. You just know that it's off. But here, it actually makes me conflicted because I kind of like the crew, even though they're doing wrong things, even though they're actually even killing people, they're likable. The characters are likable, which makes the situation that much more complex. So she needs to get this suit ready for this mission they're doing tonight. And it's a big mission. So she goes on the dark web. She finds this guy, Joe. He has all the parts. Who's funding the suit? It's the Hood, the mysterious, ominous, dark presence in the show who is kind of making these decisions. And I think that the story is going to get turned on its head. I'm already feeling like a lot of care went into this show. I don't know why they didn't release it earlier if it was like this good, Makes me think that maybe they've just been like remaking it over and over again since 2022 or something. And let's just be honest, it works. 2 episodes in, I'm a happy viewer. I know the third one's probably going to be the most eventful, and I look forward to that tomorrow. Let's just appreciate episode by episode. I know a lot of people are binge watching it, so maybe it's good to go and like just hear again what happened and a little bit of reflection on that. So Riri meets Joe, this guy, to buy black market parts for her suit, to cover fixing her suit. There's some funny, awkward moments, like Joe has an issue with the dog poop that this lady doesn't pick up, always on his lawn. The end of the episode showed him cutting his neighbor's flowers, and he went down and like put one in his mouth. What does that mean? What am I missing? Am I like completely blind to something? Like, what is he doing? Why did the episode end on that? I thought he was going to hurt the woman with the dog, but that wasn't the case. The Alanis Morissette on the radio, priceless, great song, great song for the whole episode. Joe has a bunker full of advanced tech, calls it his wholesome bunker. Riri questions his motives. Joe mentions his dad, an engineer, and says tech makes him feel closer to him. There might be some heavy foreshadowing here. There was a rumor I heard. You could skip 30 seconds. It won't be very long me talking about this, but there's a rumor. Screen Crush, New Rock Stars, the community. They have I've already know this theory for Joe, and they think it's Obadiah Stane's son. Ooh, do you know if you don't remember who that is? He was the antagonist in the first Iron Man movie, a friend to Tony Stark at Stark Industries, but secretly an enemy. And he tries to kill Tony. He makes his own suit. He's called the Ironmonger. And I think it really actually makes so much sense for that twist. Skip ahead. I'm sorry if you caught that. But this isn't for sure at all. I heard this months ago. It was a rumor. If it's true, I genuinely don't know. It's just an idea, something that I remembered and wanted to put out there. Maybe I think it's exciting to to wonder and predict sometimes. I'm not trying to spoil it. If it does happen, I'm sorry in a sense if you feel spoiled, but I'm going to leave this in here because I think it's just cool. So Natalie and Riri are. I said wee again, guys. Riri, wee. This is off the cuff. I'm so sorry. Natalie and Riri, are they friends, or is there this fracture that's kind of present but not spoken that Riri can't really even basically look her in the eye? Natalie offers Riri real-time intel, hacking help, and even emotional support, but the tension grows. Riri doesn't fully understand how Natalie came to be. Riri's mom ends up talking with Natalie via the tablet in one of the episode's most heartfelt scenes. I mean, you'd think that this will be a secret she's hiding from her mom the whole series, but no. First moment possible, they meet. Nothing's too crazy in this world of aliens, wizards, and robots. The heist sequence / moral tension of that. The crew executes a major heist on TNNL. That's the Chicago Underground Superhighway project that I was talking about. Riri flies through a tunnel. Her suit is ready just in time. The CGI is clean, in my opinion, fun, and it feels Iron Man level, early Iron Man. Natalie interrupts mid-flight in this tiny tunnel, so it causes a big crash, and Riri drops this USB drive. She drops it. So she comes around with this really unique way to get under a car, and then when it gets moved off of the platform, it'll shut down the system like it was meant to. So they pull the heist off. And just barely, because of what happened with Riri. The hood magically appears in one of the cars and threatens a businesswoman to work with them. This businesswoman is working with this TNNL tunnel, the Chicago Highway Underground project. So he even uses magic to curve a bullet and kill a guard that's holding Riri hostage. In this moment, Riri is stuck because Natalie is stuck, so she can't move, and the officer just looks like he's about to shoot her in the face. But that curved bullet magic was real, and she saw it, I saw it, you saw it, and yeah, she did see someone's life or just major pain inflicted on someone due to her mistake. So I'm assuming that might hurt her in the long run or turn her against these people. The aftermath and this kind of villainous speech the Hood gives, if you weren't sure yet, if he's kind of a darker entity. Back at HQ, the team celebrates, and Riri is clearly disturbed. The Hood gives a chilling toast. You lived your lives waiting to be seen, and I see you. That's kind of like culty and manipulative, if you ask me. He plays the victim card, but his power-hungry rhetoric, it lands like a proper villain speech. Riri walks out and calls her suit, and Natalie follows. So the final moments and some seeds for the following episodes. Riri brings up that day with Natalie, the one that we keep seeing in the flashback last episode. Natalie says not now, so it's still a mystery to us what really happened with Natalie. That is very traumatic for Riri. We'll probably see the full flashback is what I'm guessing. I don't know when. Natalie senses the magic on Parker, aka the Hood, and he's getting worse as we can see. His veins are growing, and there's demonic voices calling him. Is this strong Mephisto vibes or something even darker? Are we going to get a cameo Aubrey Plaza as Rio, the Lady of Death incarnate? Is that what we say? That would be pretty cool too. Joe's creepy flower cutting scene at the end after he steps in poop. Foreshadowing? Yeah. But maybe I need to go rewatch it. Like, why was he cutting her flowers? Is it because she loves her flowers? Or was it because he's gonna do something bad with the flowers? Was it a Lily of the Valley moment like in Breaking Bad? If you know, you know. However, it just ends on that note with an Alanis Morissette beat. You ought to know. Perfect. So, could Joe be the son of Obadiah Stane? Let's be real. Prediction. Yes, he could be, but he also might just be another character related to something else we're not sure about. Natalie as an AI opens the door to big tech ethics and grief storylines. Parker / the Hood headed for full villain territory. Magic plus trauma equals dangerous, and I don't know where this is going with him, Mephisto or not. He's not in a very good place, and I think that's going to come out. I don't know if he's going to transform into a full demon. We'll see. Riri might not stay with this crew much longer because that murder that happened in front of her, that's just not who she is. Again, Mephisto. Is Marvel finally adding Mephisto? The fans have wanted this since WandaVision. I think if they do have him in the show, that is for all the people who really wanted Mephisto and WandaVision pulling strings. I think you might get what you wanted with this show. All right, so some final thoughts on this great episode. It was a great episode. Natalie is funny, eerie, and tragic. Their bond, Riri and Natalie, is hard. It hits hard. Riri's moral compass is being tested big time in this episode. Joe gives off major secret villain vibes. We'll see if my prediction about him is correct. 2 episodes in, and they're not holding back. CGI, action, magic, emotion, all of it. Yes, this is what we deserve as Marvel fans. And if this is the last show that's going to be connected to the movies, as Kevin Feige has said, this one better go out with a bang. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. We're a bit over 15 minutes, but it was a big episode. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow about the final episode of these 3. And next week, finishing the series up the same way we're doing it this week. You got any thoughts, concerns, something you really want to hear me cover that I haven't? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Join our community. Support the show at patreon.com/MarvelManiac so I can keep making episodes. I love doing this, and it's my job. And I can't even really call it that because I love it this much. So patreon.com/MarvelManiac. There's also a tip jar in our About section, along with a link to the Patreon. Never expected, always appreciated. 2 episodes in, I'm feeling like this show has a lot of promise, and I'm just thankful that I can go even watch the next episode and do Friday's episode right now. And the reason I would be releasing them 2 separate days is just to stay in the algorithm. We really need people to share the show. If you have friends who you think would like it, don't hesitate to send it to them. If you do, let me know. Send me a screenshot. I'll put you on our wall of heroes without even being a Patreon member. And yeah, MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com, Patreon.com/MarvelManiac. I'll talk to you tomorrow for the 3rd episode of Ironheart. I'm glad we're doing it this way. We kind of get to really dive into the characters a little bit more, and I think in the long run, I'll be happier to have this in my catalog as all 6 episodes, because I'm thinking this is going to be iconic. Okay, until tomorrow for episode 3, Avengers, disassemble.